good. God is great. Thanks for keeping me healthy today. Yeah. So what is really going on here? Scott and Jerry Sir. Scott Warner, Jerry Sir.
So is there a way I can share this to my page, Frank?
Yes. How does she share this to the page, okay?
Well,
we need to tag her.
We need to tag her. So, which means we need to go unlive and tag her.
Oh. Hey, everybody. Hold on 1 second. We're going to be right back. Where, yeah, you were talking about Stephen Curry's wife. Da, da, da. Hey, everybody. Hold on 1 second. Love you, love you too, Mike. Give me 1 second. We'll be right back, okay?
I wish there was a way to tag while you're on.
I do.
Edit post.
Not what that word's for. Thank God I don't use it a lot. I should use it more often, probably.
What is your name?
Kim Dotson.
A-I-M.
You gotta do at or whatever.
Yeah. D-O-T-S-O-N?
Yeah.
Should I just pull it up on where you are live?
It should give you a notification. Just a second.
I don't know if that's it or not.
Well, she may not. Are you not friends with the OKaye Frank page?
It should be. Let me look it up.
Well, they tagged somebody named Kim Dotson.
It tagged somebody.
Somebody. Right. Ba la ba ba ba. I'm loving it. Whoop. It's that coffee, man. I'm telling you.
Thank the Lord for good coffee.
Put that stuff in the coffee. All right, everybody's back. We're coming back. Miss Lexi. Boy, go home. Nah, I'm cool. Doing the boys' work. Sarah, Mr. Greg Moore, and today was a good day. Danny Maggs, Mr. Mike Webb, Jerry Sir. Bible study tonight at 7, also Corona free.
Also Corona free.
Also Corona free. Oh man, today's gonna be a good episode. So tag it. What's up? You too. Kim Dotson joining. Hey Kim, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey. Keep going.
Yeah.
That's
my
Hey.
line.
Hey. Alright, hilarious. Y'all so funny.
Oh, craziness.
Craziness.
Flexible. It's my word for the next few weeks. How are you? Flexible. How are you?
Dude, I gotta write down Brother Kim Carr. He says the coolest thing people ask him how he is. I ain't even begin to try. I'm gonna mess it all the way up. I'm gonna write it down on Sunday. He says the coolest thing, and I was like, I asked him 2 Sundays ago what it was. And, he told me I was like, anyway, praying from the power of authority. I got that book. I dropped the wrong daggone bag today. There's a book, Praying from the Power of Authority. I've been reading Church Sunday. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Position. From a position of authority, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Here we go.
Are you teaching, Jerry?
1320thevoice.com. This is the voice of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, let's be great. I'm Kay. This is Frank.
Good afternoon. You're listening to 1320 AM WCBG, The Voice. This is another episode of OKaye, Let's Be Frank. I'm Frank. This is Kay.
Hey, hi everybody.
Turn up. Woo woo. celebrate. Corona free in the house.
Corona free in the
Corona
house.
free. Thank you, Lord Jesus,
So
for
silly.
keeping us healthy and safe.
Absolutely.
Man, it's crazy. This world's nuts out here, man.
Yes, it is.
But man, I feel for anybody who's sick and going through it and scared and all that. But God says fear has no power over us.
Amen.
So man, we don't recognize that. We recognize we need to be safe and cautious and all that. But other than that, we still spread the good word here today, and we just thank Him for being able to do that.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure, man. It's been such a I don't know. Like I can't even say it's been such a trying week because it's just been like, so what do we do now? You know,
Right,
type
it's
thing. Like
Different. Like,
different for sure.
Totally just different feeling even. Just the hey.
Anyway, that was funny.
I'll be
Her son's
honest.
writing on Facebook. We got a whole joke thing going on. Anyway, go ahead. But yeah, it's totally different. It's
Just
totally different.
yeah.
And it's kind of cool. Like, and I think that's kind of where God kind of wants to go with this conversation today. And anybody who's watching or listening, feel free to log on to the OK Let's Be Frank show or my personal page, Frank Haddon, and give me some comments and let me know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and your thought process through this whole thing. We have a special guest in the studio today, which is pretty awesome, pretty stellar person all in general. But you're gonna get a lot of insight and thoughts today. So feel free. We want to hear what you have to say as well. Again, like going back to this week, it's just been very informative because I'm curious anyway. I'm curious about a lot of things and quote unquote sickness and where it comes from and how is this different from the flu and why are we so cautious on this one as opposed to anything else, and so many questions that I have. But I mean, as we all know, it all comes back to just trust God.
That's,
like, it's not even.
Just,
I mean,
I don't even have questions. I'm just like, okay, God, this is all on you.
Right.
I don't understand what their problem is, but I
right. I'm sitting down writing some stuff yesterday, and I'm just like, what is everybody's deal?
right.
Like,
I'm like, what is the deal? I don't understand
when
it.
problems come up, it's so funny though when you talk to somebody from church, whatever, when problems come up, and you call them, you're like, oh man, these bills came up, and I lost my job, or whatever, whenever you have any type of issue, and they're always like, well, just pray about it, it's going to be okay, if God's in control. Where's that thought now? You know what I mean? Like, how much do you hear that now? God's in control, God, just pray about it, it's going to be okay. Same thing applies. Yeah. Right? For sure. And especially in a time like this, we need to be spreading that, teaching wellness and spreading that type of thought process across the board.
Yeah, it's easy to lose sight of them in the storm.
For sure. Everybody's
Guilty.
looking at the storm. But hey, it's all good, man. It's all good. I still want to give a shout out to my man Al Watts. Thank you so much for your generous contribution, my friend, to the OK Let's Be Frank ministry. Al Watts is the owner of Victory Janitorial Services. They clean commercial offices, auditoriums, sanctuaries, those types of things. Don't let floors be your chore. Call your pal Al at 859-802-0473. Again, that is 859-802-0473. Don't let floors be your chore. Call your pal Al.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, man.
Thank
Al
you.
Watts, for sure. Thank you, Al. Big shout out to Home Church New Hope Christian Center, 941 Central Avenue. Have services at 10:15 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Now, this week they filmed a little bit of the praise and worship, but they put the entire service on SoundCloud. So I think that's going to be a thing for a little while at least. So you can find the services there if you don't feel up to making it out to the actual building. But church will go on as of now as scheduled at 10:15 a.m. And tonight is Bible study at 7 p.m. At 941 Central Avenue. I think he said we're going to be talking about praying from a position of authority. And that's one thing that we're going to kind of talk about today is what is our position in all this mess, what all this craziness that's going on, all the things around us, all the subliminal messaging about toilet paper. I don't understand where that came from or why that happens to be a big thing, but it's something in the water, man. It's crazy. Um, but we have a position of authority in all this, and so how to use that, we're going to get some different opinions and things like that. So anyway, come out tonight to New Hope Christian Center for the Bible study at 7 p.m. 941 Central Avenue, Newport, Kentucky. New Reality Church out in Florence, 7137 Mandalay Drive in Florence. We have Sunday morning service at 10:30 a.m. Friday night service starting at 6. They have a meal. 7 o'clock is service. 8 o'clock is a meeting for those who need that. Same thing. They've been streaming their live services Friday and Sunday. They got so many programs going on. They've got different groups going down, cleaning and sanitizing, and making sure that it's a safe environment for folks. So, if you want to get out, or if you just want to check it out, check out New Reality Church Live on Facebook, and all the streams are on there. Just a big shout out to anybody and everybody who's been listening and watching and supporting OK Let's Be Frank Ministries for the 2 years we've been on. We too are on SoundCloud. We've been on SoundCloud for 2 years.
For 2 years.
So if you get bored, go back on SoundCloud, look up OK Let's Be Frank, and you can listen to
Plenty of that, information there.
plenty of information. 2 years worth of
2
episodes.
years, right.
Man. So if anybody wants to partner with us or team up with us, we'll be glad to help out. And I mean, we have platforms. We've got podcast platforms. We've got YouTube. We've got Facebook. So many things that we can partner together and bring a little bit of unity in the community.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. For sure. But just a big shout out to anybody who supported us. If you want to partner with us, just help out the ministry, donations, sponsorships, or just be with us to help us out, help out God's kingdom. Feel free. You can send donations or anything that you would like to partner with to 135 West 38th Street, Covington, Kentucky. 41015 41015.
5.
Almost hit it.
Anywho, 41015. I was close. Usually have it written down. But anyway, so again, thank you guys for watching and listening. I really want to hear and see some comments today, and let us know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, any questions you may have that we may be able to answer through God's Word. There is a lot of authority that we have over these things, fear being one. One big thing that is spoke on and taught a lot is fear is a liar.
Yes, it is.
Amen.
And we're not supposed to cower to principalities and things like that. There is one truth. We believe in that, and we stand on that rock. And the person that we have with us today is somebody who has believed that, lives that, has lived that, and is building a strong future in the church world and ministry because of that basic principle. She took her position of authority and just said, God, I'm yours, and set fear aside. And here we are today. She is the outreach minister, outreach director at the Bridge Church over in Alexandria, Kentucky. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Miss Kim Dotson.
Hey,
How you doing, Kim?
Oh, so good. So good. Rejoicing in another day.
Amen.
You
Amen.
know?
Let me turn this thing around a little bit. All right. Dun, 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 dun.
I'm loving it.
I know, right?
Okay.
Put it on space and stuff. But anyway, so hi, Kim.
Hello. Hello again.
Hello. We have we've talked the past week or so, just about different things we want to do in the community, different things we wanted to help out with, and so before we talk about the current situation, why don't you tell us a little bit about how it all got started, where you come from? You don't have to go in like detail, but a background about how you once were caught in the world and God was like, that's not the life I have for you.
Oh, so you want to hear my rescue story?
A little bit anyway.
Okay. I come from, I don't know, pretty much started running weight around 13. I've been on my own for a long time. Come from a broken family, cursed with addiction and alcoholism, poverty, broken marriages, broken relationships. So I just believed for a long time that I was broken. God said I'm not, and He kind of set me free. And once I started figuring out like who He was, then I started learning who I was always meant to be. And then that came that time of just stripping off the world's lies, and being who I was always created to be. And then learning to walk in confidence in Him, especially in my weaknesses, that He's made strong, and just like living that out every day. And it's been, it's been crazy, amazing. My life has exploded with His goodness, and it's been nothing that I've done. All I've done is be available and love people. And He's taken it from there, and it's totally changed the course of my life. And, I come from a recovery background, so I'm a person in long-term recovery. And so I have a heart for those people, but I also have a heart for, broken families and children, that need to be restored to families. And so He's, just like the word says, He will use every bit of it. None of my mistakes will go to waste. And He's made that very evident, in my life.
For sure.
And so, and I'm just letting Him. And it's been mind-blowing and humbling all at the same time.
Amen, man. It's so awesome. We've had a few people on the show, and of course, Jerry. He shared a little bit about his story, and Zippy was on here a couple of weeks ago, telling about his story. And it's just so awesome because we think when we're in the midst of chaos and turmoil, and a lot of times we don't even see it as chaos and turmoil. It's just the life that we're living.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you start to recognize and start to listen, then it's our own thoughts that start to take over that, oh man, I'm a piece of trash and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then God's just like, no, that's not it.
That's not.
Watch what I'll do with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's it's so awesome. It's so awesome to watch and see and be a part of, for sure.
Yeah, well, I think like some of the main, like the first step for me was just surrender. Like I've had to be a soldier all my life. I've had to be a survivor all my life. It's all I've ever known. So a lot of those, mentalities were ingrained in me at a very young age, because my mom was a mother of four doing the best that she could. So I learned survival skills, and I learned how to hustle at a very young age. And, it was coming into, a new identity. I remember God speaking to me, and He told me, start over. And I'm like, well, what's that mean? You know what I mean? Like, start over. You got to give me more than that. And but that's all I got. And it was like, I knew that meant, like, what do you mean? Like, from a baby? And I knew that meant taking everything I thought I knew and laying it aside and walking in complete surrender to God's plan for my life. And when I had that level of willingness, that I was willing to do whatever it took to change the course of my life. And if that meant seeing people that I wanted my life to really look like, a place that I thought my life should really be, but I clearly wasn't getting there. I think that was the first process, was identifying the lie of the enemy for what it was. It was like, I wasn't winning.
Right.
All of a sudden I realized I was not winning.
Well, let's back up for just a second. And what we love to do on the show is just kind of be real, raw, and relevant. And so when you say, I had to lay everything aside and start over, that's literally when somebody says, if you're new to the Bible or new to a Christian walk or something like that, when somebody says you need to be reborn, that's exactly what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So these terms, we like to put a true definition to these terms. So what Kim's talking about is being reborn into Christ, laying the old life aside,
all of it,
and not understanding what that means.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once you say, all right, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know what to do next.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
literally,
Right.
all right, you're reborn. Because whenever you're first born, what do you know how to do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Just drink.
Just
Mhm.
drink.
You know what I
Drink
mean?
on the milk.
Right. That's all you know how to do.
That's
So
it.
the milk is the word.
Right. Absolutely.
And so that's where you start. I don't want to do this old crap anymore. I need this milk. I need this milk, and this is just all I'm just gonna drink on that and feed on that, and
Until I'm strong enough to chew on it.
right. Hey, come on, Kay. Hey, that's
No,
what's
for real.
up. For sure.
Because then it turns in from milk to food. I mean,
Meat.
it's the meat and taters of everything, right?
Yeah.
But you start out slow, not knowing what to do.
You do, and I just want to interject on that because, I was baptized in Campbell County Jail in a horse trough by Pentecostal church. It was pretty charismatic. And I was baptized in there.
Sounds like a pretty awesome story.
I know, right?
It was pretty cool. The first thing I remember coming up is I knew I was filled with the Holy Spirit, and I was in front of a police car because it was in the garage. And I was
Wow.
like, this is crazy. But I wanted out so bad even then.
Yeah.
But I didn't know Jesus. I kind of knew God. I felt like he was for some people, not for everybody. That was just my mentality growing up in a very broken, poverty level home, and different things that I went through. But it was like, in that time, like I remember trying to follow the 10 Commandments because I didn't know how to do anything else. And
Right.
it's like, and the minute I didn't do that, I was like, oh, this is not meant for like Christianity or whatever, because I didn't know Jesus,
Right.
and that was just a recent revelation, as he's become my best friend, that I was like, all these years, I thought I knew God, but my life changed when I got introduced to Jesus. And that was the difference. That's where the wholeness kind of came in. So it was like exactly what you're saying. It's like we know in part,
Right.
therefore we see in part. But like until I knew Jesus and I started getting in the meatier things like the milk in the beginning, for example, I remember that the first verse that I took out of jail with me was 1 Corinthians 10:13. It says that whenever you are tempted, for God is faithful, that whenever you are tempted, I will provide a way out so that you can endure. That was my don't relapse verse.
Wow.
It's like, okay, God, you said you're faithful, and if I'm tempted, you'll provide a way out. And, and I held on to that. And then it changed to renewing the mind, taking every thought captive and renew your
Come
mind.
on, man.
And
So can I ask you? I'm sorry, I want to stop you in the
No,
middle,
no,
but
go.
can I ask you, when was the first time that scripture came to mind? You had to put it to use.
renewing the mind.
No, the first one.
Oh, so the first one it would just be, when I came out of incarceration, I went into a place called, I put myself in a shelter first because I didn't have any options. I had no identity. I'd been hiding my identity for 20 years, wanted in every state and county in the United States. Not every, but a lot. I'm alive. Add to the story. But I was wanted in 4 counties in 2 states when I got arrested. And so I've spent years hiding my identity. So I had no idea who I was, and I had no proof of who I was. But I went into a shelter, ended up getting into reset, and just going to work there. I was walking to work every day at 4 o'clock in the morning. My good old Panera days, loved them so much. They taught me how to be a great employee, which made me a great boss and a great leader today, because I learned not to personalize the world's drama. But just in the world, so walking to work, keeping my eyes on Jesus, keeping the worship music turned up in my ears, and
Right.
saying, God, just let me stay the course,
Right.
stick to the plan. And because for a long time, like I had so many trust issues, I didn't trust my feet. I didn't trust my eyes.
Same.
I couldn't wander from the plan. So if I had to go to work, I went to work, I came home, and then when people at work if anything was happening, I'm not trying to degrade anybody, but if anything was going on, it was like, I knew I had to remove myself and I had to speak that verse over myself.
Right.
And that's what I mean, because like we talk these things and we can go to Bible studies and we get the of where these things are and blah blah blah, and it's almost like we can hit the vending machine, but how do we know when to go and what situations do those look like? And I think all too often we forget about the real situations. You're at work, you've got your mindset, and it's not at that point for you, like it's not about not going back to jail. It's about I'm living another life. I'm living for Christ now.
Right. Like,
you know what I mean?
I knew how to do jail.
These types of things, when when somebody else comes in that doesn't know what you know and they're still living life, and you're encountered with that soon after you've made this decision, I think we forget when we're teaching that actual instance. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an actual thing that you had to live through, and that you made it through. You know what I mean? So, I like to be real and raw. Was there ever a time that you were encountered after you had changed your mind? Was there a time where you were offered something, or offered to go somewhere that you knew you shouldn't go, or someone tried to put you back in a place mentally that you just couldn't go? Can you sort of walk us through that situation, or if you remember, or if you don't want to?
Yeah, there's a lot of those. You know, dying to self is just that. Is dying to self, and you know, something that I'm really proud of, and like that I feel, you know, really confident in was as I started, you know, walking this thing out, getting a job, and just trying to check the list, right? Like I knew it was an inside job, but I had no idea how to start cleaning up my heart. I just knew I didn't want to be the person I was anymore. Right. And I knew that if I wasn't a coward, that I was going to give it everything that I had. Because it was the Proverbs. I was reading a proverb a day, and it was like, it spoke to me in a way that, like, here's the wisdom, where's the self-discipline? And I knew right then, and then the verse stuck out to me one day. It said, you know, where it says the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, therefore we do what we don't want to do. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of was like, oh my God, that's it. So a part of that, I think, was starting to realize, you know, as I was reading the word, sticking to the plan, that I had to start letting go of anything to do with my old self. You know, I always say, like, my healthy family, my addiction cost me the healthy side of my family, and then my recovery cost me the dysfunctional side of my family. And I sacrificed that. I sacrificed that to be who God's called me to be Kimberly. And to, like, so I don't have, like, the support of my family and those kind of things, which is huge, because a lot of times it's like, you know, you want that restoration, but you just have to listen to God's will, you know, and what He's doing in your life. And so it also meant letting go of old friends. And I was in a horrible relationship for like 13 or 14 years, you know. And I mean, I'm still grateful for that, because I don't think I would be alive today if it wasn't for him, especially living in the streets of downtown Cincinnati. And you got to be a warrior over there. A lot of my friends didn't make it out. So that was really relevant to me. But the first thing was, like, letting go of those relationships, walking away from him, breaking that soul tie over myself, and knowing that where God was taking me, He wasn't on board. Right. So that was a big thing. So I started with this, like, this is something, like, that I was saying, I'm, like, just proud of, and super just, this is God's will. This is, like, nothing that I could do. This is the power of God. So I started with a 30-day challenge, no relationships. And I'm like, okay, 30 days. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm starting a new Facebook. I'm flushing out these unhealthy things in my life. And, you know, and that's when the temptation starts coming, right? So I had people, you know, offer me, what are you doing? I got the drugs. And I'm like, no, thank you. I'm high on Jesus, you know? And I just shut it down, like, immediately. And my block game is strong. So I don't play that. They don't get in my DMs. Like, they know better. Quick. But anyway, it started with a 30-day challenge. And here I am 3 years later.
Yeah.
Just completely dedicated to God. And that's Him. That's the power of God.
True.
You know?
That's so awesome. My brother, Dave Fornash, he says, Kim, your testimony will be a light to others that was going through what you traveled through. Praise God. Yeah. And it's so true. It's so true. Anybody who just tuned in or is just watching, listening, we were in the studio today, Corona Free. God bless. Thank you so much. We are here with Miss Kim Dotson, the Director of Outreach at the Bridge. She's giving a little bit of her testimony, and we're talking about these things that are going on in the world today, and how fear's a liar, and basically our authority. Kim was just telling us about how she took authority over her life and didn't really know how to,
right.
When it first starts.
What's it look like? How do you do that? And
right.
Just being strong in your decisions of, I'm going to turn this around. That's what I'm hearing. It's like she was just strong in her, nope, I'm not doing this. I'm going to turn this around. 1 minute at a time. That's what I say. If that's all it takes is 1 minute at a time.
That's where you have to start.
And
I mean,
get there.
just from what I know from my little travels, you know, like you have to take it all the way back to every little thought. Sometimes has to be no, 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 no matter what, until it's just habit to say no to stupid stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you don't have to say it every minute. Maybe every hour you have to verbally say it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it goes to every couple hours you have to verbally say
Greater
it.
later.
But it's still in your mind. No, 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 no. And you're walking that out. And I mean, I think it's pretty awesome. My buddy, Ike too, huh?
I've been a lot of places, seen a lot of faces. And you know, I just want to interject in that, Frank, real quick, if you don't mind, because it's true. Like, you do have to walk it out. But something that I feel was vital to my first year in recovery was I hung with the winners. I hung with the winners.
Amen.
You know, so many times I got sober and I tried to save everybody. I wanted to save the boyfriend. I wanted to save my friends. You know, it was like, but it was my motives were wrong. It was really, they made me look good. You know, it's like, but when I got with people, you know, that were doing better than me, you know, there's a saying, you know, from the infamous Gary Dawson, founder of Reset. He says, "Show me your 5 friends, and I'll show you your future."
Truth.
I held on to that, so I got with women that were doing the thing, respectful, living in whole marriages, and business owners, and going to school, and dripping with the love of Jesus. Sherry Collins, you know, I followed her and I hung on, and what she did, I did, and they didn't know it, but I was watching. And I'm like, okay, we're going to serve. We're going to serve. Oh, okay, lay your clothes out for work. I mean, it was down to like the smallest things. I didn't know how to be a lady.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to be a lady. And I asked her, and when we sat down in our meeting, she's like, "What are you planning to get from me?" I said, "Can you teach me how to be a lady? Because I've never known how to be a lady."
Right.
And she just teared up and was like, "Yes, yes,
Right.
you know."
Well, and that's the biggest thing is that we get so down on ourselves, and we think we can't ask nobody, we can't be real with somebody like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we think that people see us a certain way, and we try to uphold a certain image. If we would just ask somebody, people want to help. There are people out there, and God is going to put you around the folks that can help, that are able to help. So when you reach out, when you say, I just want to be a lady, you know, that came from a real place, that came from your heart, and you were genuinely asking, and God had put this person in your path to be like, yes, I've been waiting to help somebody. You know what I mean? And like, that's how it happens. I know for me, it took a long time for me to say anything. Like, I lived a whole life for a whole lot of years. You know what I mean? And just to ask somebody, man, I don't know how to put a budget together. I don't know how to, you know what I mean? I don't know how to do these things a man would do. I watched my daddy for years bust his butt for our family. So I knew how to do things from watching him. But then for so many other years, I was around the wrong folks, watching them for what they did. And, you know, you follow suit. You are who you are around, you know? So that's totally true. That is totally true.
And it's so often we get the definition of love so misconstrued. We don't know the definition of true love in our community, in our families. I never knew. When I found out the true definition of love, that was a game changer. Because in my world, in Kim's world, you know, love got you nowhere and cost you everything. And there was no room for it. And, you know, and in the world where Jesus reconciles myself to him, like, love is freely given and freely received. No matter what. And it's like when that shift happened, it was on. And when he knew it, he knew when he had my heart. And that's when the you know, I can't say that, but that's when the favor and the reward of living an obedient Christian life came to me. Because, you know, the word says, if you're faithful over little, I'll set you over much. And I was faithful over my little. And I spent a year cleaning up the wreckage of my past and making right my wrongs and doing my amendses. And even when I didn't have it, you know, I didn't have it. It was like, I'll live on ramen, peanut butter, like whatever. But God even provided through that. But it came to a spot where it was like, you know, I'm not saying always hang with the winners. I'm saying, because it's important to sit with the great, but it's important to sit with the broken. But do that when you're ready.
No longer the broken.
Exactly.
When you're the great.
So
then
often we
go
rush
give it
in.
back to the broken. Right.
Yeah, we rush in.
Jump in too fast and try to.
Captain Sable, whatever.
Right.
You
Try
know?
to start doing things that you're not prepared to do yet. You're
Your
just not ready
family.
for it yet.
Truth, and that's the thing. So that really lets you know too, like where your mindset really is. If you're more concerned with trying to go back and show everybody you made it, and I'm trying to blah blah blah, and that you want to package it, and I'm just trying to help other people. The fact of the matter is, you're not helping anybody, not even yourself.
You're not.
You're not being a good representative. You're not. You know what I mean? Jesus, I love The Chosen. Did you ever get that figured out? Anyway.
Nope, I'm working on it.
Anyway, so
Plenty of time to work.
she's got Samsung, so let her talk to her before we leave. But anyway,
Okay.
so on The Chosen, when he's getting ready to turn water into wine,
Yeah.
and he says, "It's not yet my time." And his mother asks him, "We need you to do your thing," you know what I mean? And he says, He's like, "It's not yet my time." She's like, "If not now, when?" Even Jesus, who knew his mission, knew the message, close to the Father, knew exactly what was going on, what he had, his purpose, all these things. I don't want to say he was hesitant, but he was waiting until the exact moment when he was ready.
Right.
You know what I mean? When he was ready to let the world know, when it was ready, okay, this is a quote unquote a coming out party type thing or whatever. He wasn't in a rush to go back. Let me tell everybody that I'm Jesus. Let me go and tell everybody I'm the Messiah. How many miracles does the Bible talk about that he did and said, please don't say a word?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't say
Don't
anything.
say anything.
So it's about him preparing the way. And we have that responsibility when we go through these times of change, this renewal, the rebirth. There's a time where we have to work on ourselves. It's not being selfish.
No.
It's making sure that we are listening and hearing clearly so that then we can go out and make disciples properly.
Right.
Yes, he even told the disciples, he said, come with me and I'll teach you how to be fishers of men.
Right.
He didn't say, come with me, we're going to go fishing for men.
Right.
He said, come with
True.
me and I will teach you
Right. Right.
how to be fishers of men. First, we got to learn how to fish.
That's
Truth.
right. That's
Truth.
right.
And I think so. That's a great segue into what's going on in this world today.
Mhm.
And I think it's so awesome. You tell your story is one of perseverance and just headstrong, strong will, God first mentality. I think that all of us quote unquote Christians need to take a page out of the book, take a step back for a second. This is not a time of Bible thumping. I don't think. This is not a time of pointing fingers and this, that, and the other. This is a time of taking a step back. Unification, for one, but two, loving.
Right.
We love through this.
Time for love. Right. That's what I was
Togetherness.
thinking. It's the
Togetherness,
biggest-
we love. And it's so funny how God has taken away every distraction.
Everything.
And he's brought everybody back home.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like, we can look at this as, oh, I lost my job, or, oh, the kids are home, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Somebody posted the other day, there was a liquor store that's going to deliver since all your kids are home now. And I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
What?
Yeah.
Like, my kids are home today. Like, we get to go out and play. That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Like, we get
That's the mental shift we get to.
right.
A lot of people are like, oh, now we have to do this, and what are we going to have? It's like, oh, well, just remember that God has given us everything we need right here on
True.
earth to live and to thrive.
Right.
And we wonder, we hear these stories in the Bible, and it's never going to be what the humanistic thinking is. These stories in the Bible, we're thinking of these huge plagues and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? God does things in God's way, and it's a spiritual thing. So we have to think of these moments in this time as God is bringing us together.
Right.
He's bringing in a unity in our community.
Yeah.
And you think about where's it started? At home. The Bible talks about home a lot. You know what I mean? Putting the lamb's blood on the door for Passover. You know what I mean? Where was the door? Your home.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're
It's slowing us down.
Yes.
We got too fast. The world is too busy. America is in too much of a rat race.
Distracted and busy.
Right.
See,
Forgot
that's
what's
the
going
difference of our doing compared to our being.
on. Right.
Our doing should come from who we are, not the opposite.
Right.
We think that, oh, I work at the church. Oh, I'm the boss executive over here. I went to this school. Our identity is affiliated in everything we've accomplished.
Right.
And it should be grounded in Christ on the rock that's
Right.
higher than me.
true.
So it's like, that's where our doing comes from, who we were created to be, which was for his kingdom purposes. It's not, we've made it so much about us, that, God is allowing this. He is Elohim. He is the creator of all. And he's allowing this time for whatever reason. And this is the time to get your ear to the heavens and say, what are you saying to me,
Come on.
Lord? You know?
Come on. And we get around, these people, what Holly was just saying, iron sharpens iron. Preach it, girl. I guess she was talking to you. No, this is Holly Rosenberry. She plays piano at New Reality. You can get sharper hanging around butter knife people. You can't. Yeah. That's hilarious. Dave says we're preaching Romans 10:1-4. You can have head knowledge, but you need it in your heart. Too many people are missing heaven by 18 inches. Wow. True.
Oh,
True.
powerful.
That is powerful. Way to go, Dave. These things are. There's so much, and when we talk about coming from a position of authority, we have to realize what we are. I was thinking, for whatever reason, a vision came in my head this morning of a man, a wife, and kids. And I was watching this video last night. I don't even know why I got on this TikTok binge last night.
I get lost in this.
Oh my goodness! You want some time to pass? Jeez and rice. But there was this dude and his family, and they're sitting on this boardwalk type deal, and this big wave's coming. And the guy gets up, and his little son is sitting there. He's like yelling, "Dad, Dad!" And the dad's just kind of waiting a second. Well, the wave comes super close. The guy turns around, leaves the kid, and takes off. Mom grabs the girl and the boy and holds them and turns away from the wave, but they get crashed. And for whatever, that was the end of the video, so I don't know what happened. But I'm like, if we're real honest, and I'm about to get frank for a second. If we're real honest, the man has left the household these days. There's not enough authority in the household. We're letting kids run stuff. We're making the woman do more than her job is. Being a man has taken on a whole new meaning.
Yes.
You want to be a man in a bar because you can take 5 shots in a row. That makes you a man. But you're going to run and leave your kids at a boardwalk. You know what I mean? You're going to let the kids in the house make the decision. You're just going to come home from work and go to bed and get up and catch a plane and leave. There's a lot of things. And don't let me off the hook. I mean, like, I've not been there for my kids like I should have been. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that I haven't done. And that's why I'm speaking about this. Because when it becomes a realization of what you could do better in building your relationship with Christ, this has a lot to do with what is going on today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is one of the things why God has brought us together, to kind of reestablish, give us an opportunity to reestablish what he first intended. He's given us an opportunity, bringing everybody home, let the man take his position, which is not greater than a woman, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's greater than a woman, but his position in the household is to lead the household. And I think that's part of this is one way we can look at this. I think it's a way we should, for sure. But that's old Frank's opinion.
No, you're right. That's right.
Well, a provider is different than a father.
Right.
Even for the men that are out there working and providing, anyone, being a provider, a father is different from a dad. And it's like, I think that's another key component. And at the ultimate base of it, I feel like it's just God's going to reveal what's really in our hearts, guys.
True.
Like, this is a time where it's like, oh, you're sitting at home, you're with your family, you don't know what to do. Like, this is a time, and like we were talking about it just being crazy and like how it's not been, but it's a mental, this is where our mentality comes in, our true hearts are revealed, and then we have a decision to make. Are we going to embrace what God's given us and trusted in our lives and the people that he's put all around us to love on? And I'm single, I live at home by myself, but I'm doing check on your neighbors and trying to, be involved with the community in a wise and safe way.
Right.
We're doing a community needs page for our group where people can sign up if they're elderly or stuck in their homes and they need medicine or groceries, so that we've come together as volunteers and some of the ministry leaders at the church to help families that are in need right now know that we're here for each other. I'm not You know, I even thought about going into Kroger and buying up all the toilet paper and then standing outside and giving it away.
Amen.
Yeah.
Like, you
Amen.
know, to the family, you got toilet paper in there? Oh no, here you go. Like, let's show
Right.
people like what's really in our hearts, because this is such a time as this. This is the time that what's really in there is going to be revealed, and a lot of ugly is going to come out, and I think maybe a lot of good's going to come.
I think in the end it's going to be a lot better than a lot better than we kind of anticipate. Because again, it's a spiritual thing, and things are, like you said, going to be revealed, and it's going to get ugly before it gets better.
Just
But-
like when you clean your house.
But that's the only way that you grow. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Another video on TikTok was a lizard molting. You know what I mean? And when you watch a lizard shedding its skin, it looks all ugly and nasty or whatever. But
Mhm.
when you peel that old skin off, it's grown a little bit. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit fuller,
A little bit
a
shinier.
little bit shinier. You know, so that's definitely the way it's supposed to go.
I think it's up to us. It's our perspective. We have a choice right now that we can change our perspective and make something good out of this and come out better, stronger
Truth.
because of it. Or we can choose to walk in fear instead of faith
Right.
and come out violent and crazy and selfish and self-centered.
Right.
Truth. And this goes for, if I'm being real raw and relevant, think about the people that are going to the stores and buying up all the toilet paper and all this bunch of stuff. Are you serious?
Right.
Like, unless you're on that show 19 and counting or whatever it was, where you've got a gang of kids and all this bunch of stuff. Like, I don't see that at this point there's any reason to go that extreme. Do we need to go a little bit above and beyond in case somebody comes on TV tomorrow and says we're quarantined for the next 2 weeks? Okay, I get that. But if you're going in,
If they do that, I'm in trouble because I have not been to the store at all.
Well, I went the other day, but I bought a little bit of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like we're not prepping for doomsday.
Right, exactly.
This is not
exactly.
the end of the world.
I'm not prepping for anything. I'm just gonna be out there.
Now that's
Y'all-
faith. That's faith right there. Now.
faith in it.
And calling y'all up, going, okay, this is what Kay does. She don't even
She's
go
like-
and prep.
So did y'all get told that?
Right.
I'm gonna have to teach her the back way to the house so she don't get stopped by the police. No,
Yeah,
it's
you run out,
funny.
just call me on Natalie or something.
Right. No, man. I don't know. If you guys are just joining us, like we're talking, Kim Dotson's here with us, the director of outreach at the Bridge and the Bridge Church over in Alexandria, Kentucky, and we're just talking about fear's a liar and her perseverance through the things that could seemingly have kept her down in life, and how that relates to our current what do they call it, pandemic?
Pandemic.
What do we know?
I rebuke
What
that.
is a
Jesus
pandemic?
Do we know the difference between an epidemic and a pandemic? What is the if you guys know, if anybody knows,
Jeff,
Holly Rosen-
Jeff knows.
It's a higher level.
It's a
Higher
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 level.
level than epidemic.
Is it really? I thought epidemic
Really?
was the
This
top.
is worldwide.
So the pandemic.
Oh.
So epidemic is like regional.
Or even national, but when it goes around the whole world,
Pandemic.
pan means around or
Pan
across.
means around.
Oh.
Dude,
that's
I'm gonna
good to
tell you,
know.
if you have any questions, ask
Ask
Jeff.
Jeff.
Man, this guy, I'm telling you, cheese and rice.
He always knows.
Man, him and my brother, dude. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I'll save my questions for the week until I see Jeff. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's gonna know.
He wanted to hold my hand the other day and take me to the grocery store. I know he did. He tried to talk me into it so much.
Hey,
Come on, Kay, we'll go do this together. It's going to be okay.
Wise.
Oh, man. That's awesome. That is so awesome. But yeah,
Like
during
the right,
this pandemic thing, man, God trumps. God trumps, no matter what.
Yes, he does.
No pun intended about the president, but it's just
You read
like.
my mind. I was like, that was good.
But it's just we have to start putting things in perspective. God
Mhm.
first, family second.
That's
You know what I mean? Everything else comes after that.
right.
And I honestly, like, that's literally what's happening. He put everybody together, put your family back together, you know what I mean? And obviously there are people, your families live in different parts of the country or whatever. But you're home. You can Skype. You can FaceTime. You have time now to be engaged with your family.
Right.
Or to figure out what that looks like.
Right. Or you have time now to be reborn.
Right. Reborn and revived.
Amen. Amen.
This is a great time to discover your identity and just like, okay, what do I really like to do? Because so many people you can ask that. They have no idea.
Right.
I'm
They
one
have
of
no
those
idea.
people. I have no idea. I've never lived for myself to know what I would like to do and what I don't like to do. And it's one of those things that I journey with every day, trying to figure out who is Kaye and what does Kaye like to do, because she has always been
Everything for everybody else.
everything for everybody else. Right.
So you know what? I had to do that. I just took exploration. I'm like, I'm going to paint over here. I'm going to do some poetry. I'm going to start writing a book. I'm going to I like to talk. I know that's a given, but other than that, like, what are my hobbies? I play cards. Can I garden? Do I even like to garden?
Right.
So I just start exploring yourself and trying things. And if you don't like it, and ixnay it and move on and pick something else.
I know there's a few little things that I've dabbled in that, Kaye did that, and it was okay, and Kaye's done that, and it was okay, but what does she really like to do, you know what I mean? And so that's what I'm digging into now, really.
Dig it. Yeah, for sure.
will.
For sure. We got time.
For such a time as this.
Right.
For sure. For sure. And I think that's another thing that we can think about. We're so used to going to mundane jobs and you sit at your desk or you sit wherever and you're just like, man, I wish I was doing something else or whatever. Now you get a time to try something else. You know what I mean? With all the online programs and all the things that have made life outside our four walls or our circles, all the things that have made those things accessible to us, now's the time to utilize those. There was a guy I was watching on TikTok, and he said, I'm serious. I mean, I'm talking. I was on there for a while.
Apparently.
Yeah. I learned a lot of stuff. I saw a lot of things. But anyway, Holly says crochet for sure. But he says, look, we have spent so many years trying to make things so easy and so accessible by making apps and delivery services and all these things. Now, somebody says you have to do nothing but sit on your couch and utilize these things, and we get upset about it.
Right.
And I was like, wait a minute, dude, you're spot on.
Right.
Everybody's freaking out now. This is what we've been trained for, people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's exactly right.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. The mind. We all want something that we don't have. You know
It's so true. I was just talking to somebody. I'm like, girls with straight hair want curly hair. Girls with short hair want long hair. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't matter. When you're working all day, it's like, oh, I gotta go to work. Now it's like, oh my God, I gotta stay at home.
Right.
Exactly. Like, what in the world?
Right. Nobody's satisfied.
Right.
Maybe we need to
We
take
are
a look at
totally
that.
Right.
Well, and I think that's it.
Exactly.
I think that's it. When we chill out and settle down, and we don't just get caught up in the mundane hustle and bustle, we start to realize our position of authority. And we really start to see, what are we? Who are we? What am I doing? You know what I mean? I thought that exact thing just the other day, man. I'm just like,
That's good.
what am I doing? What am I really doing? I was walking around my apartment, and I've got a few projects that I've been working on, and I was like, this is literally what I've been asking for. Some time that I can work on these things that have been put on my heart or whatever. And it's a true blessing. It's a true blessing, So when we get what we've asked for, we have to remember, hey, I asked for this.
You're right.
So if it's not what you wanted,
To look
What
like.
you're asking
It may not be what I want it to look like, but that's where faith comes in.
true.
I was going to say, it's not only what do you want to do, but why are you doing it?
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. That's huge.
What's your purpose?
Oh, God stopped me in my tracks at Shell the other day. This guy was having a total going to get his guns frenzy in the middle of the store. And I'm like, my spiritual eyes were open. I'm like, this hasn't even begun. And like, he's like, I mean it. I'll be in the middle of the street waiting for him. And I'm like, who is he waiting for? And then I go out and this other guy's got all his gas cans lined up. And I'm like, and I bought a 20-ounce Coke.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm like,
that would be me. I'd be like,
okay. And I'm like, yeah, probably should go ahead and get some gas
I
on
don't
here.
get it.
But what I really seen was God was just like, but in the same breath, until my eyes were open to that, just before I left my apartment, my head was going, I gotta help and I gotta jump in and where can I help people with this? And we need to open the church for daycare and we need to do these things and da-da-da-da-da. You know, and immediately when I started seeing that, God was like, stop and listen to me.
That's it.
And I'm like, whoa, you don't want me doing this? I'm panicking. I'm tripping. Didn't even know it.
Right.
Then I went on live and had to repent. I'm like, I'm not above it. I'm not above it. I can get corona. Like, I rewatched those things. I'm like, I'm so drunk in the spirit, you know? It's like, he just checked me, you know? And I thought, okay, God, how do you want me to use this time?
Right.
Because I got over here in go mode, and that's not always what it looks like. Maybe this is a time for me to saturate, you know, and absorb some of what the fruits of my own labor.
Right.
You know, and I can paint and I can finish my book and I can do things that I put on the back burner for everyone else, you know? And
Come on.
so I was
Time
just
to,
like
to take a much needed break. We need this is our time for our much needed break that we've been needing. Take it and just relax.
And it's so hard, and like I feel you on that, because like it was for the first. Well, we found out we lost our jobs or whatever, you know, being in the service industry. My first thought is I'll have a job by tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. I'm just like I'm not one to sit. I'm not going to collect unemployment. I'm not that guy. I'm able to work. I'm going to go to work. That's just how I was taught. That's how, you know what I mean. So I'm like boom, boom, boom. Hit up a person. Had an interview lined up. All this bunch of stuff. I'm like just going. No peace. No peace about any of it. You know what I mean? And ran around and blah blah blah. And it was just like okay. And I think last night was honestly the first time where I was like, Lord, I haven't asked you once. What do you think about this? What is going on? Like I went into autopilot mode, and I'm like, gotta have a job. I gotta blah blah blah. I need to. And all this time, I'm hearing, man, they're giving forgiveness for rent, and they're doing, you know, nobody's gonna turn off utilities and all this bunch of stuff and blah blah blah. And like until I slowed down and stopped, it's like who made provisions for this whole way? And here I am just running right over that, and not even. I'm trying to make sure I'm good, you know what I mean? Instead of relying on him.
Instead of just relying on him and letting what he's got going for you to go for you. Actually, I think I'm just the opposite. I am just sitting at home.
Okay, sit back. You need
those
something?
kind of people annoy me so much. I love them, but I'm like,
No,
how can you just?
I love. Well, I'm usually that person.
Right,
You know,
it's like whatever.
It's so
no
hard
toilet
for me.
paper, no groceries, just sitting at home.
I can't. I trip if the garbage is full. I'm like,
same, man.
you know, it's a learning curve for
House is
all
so
of us.
clean right now.
Yeah.
It's a learning curve for all of us. You know,
Yes,
what we're good at, what
absolutely.
we're not good at. It's time to switch places. You know, and it's time for those who are running to absorb and, you know, take this time to just lean into God and who He's called you to be and what He's doing in this time. And, you know, and for the ones who are sitting, then it's like a mental press of like, what do you want me to do, God? You know?
That's awesome. Well, Kim, hey, we really appreciate you coming on, and thank you again, the Director of Outreach at the Bridge Church in Alexandria, Kentucky, Miss Kim Dotson. Thank you so much. They got a lot of things coming up once all this stuff goes to the wayside. Once it all gets cleared up, they're going to do you're doing a spring fling or something like that. You know, you're reaching out to the community, doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we had a bunch of events planned, but now we're just kind of transferred everything online. So we're still we're learning to be the church without the building.
Right, amen.
Come on.
Amen. So check them out, thebridge.com or what's the website?
thebridgenky.com.
nky.com. So check that out. You can check it, hit us up if you need information on that. So Kim, I don't know if you've seen the show before, but the last about 10 minutes, 4 minutes now, we do a segment called Let's Be Wheel. So what we have here is the wheel. I need to turn around this way. This wheel is full of scriptures. And so what we do is we let the guests spin the wheel, and we see what God has to say about our episode.
And that's on me?
That's on you. Spin that wheel. Let's be wheel, Kim. And somebody won a free card! Hey! Spin it again.
What does that mean?
Well,
God is saying nothing.
No, we're gonna have like prizes. whenever we get money and stuff.
There's 2 blank spots, and mine landed on one of them. What are the chances?
Right. Ephesians.
Oh, I love Ephesians.
Ephesians 3. If you have your Bibles, please turn with us to Ephesians 3, 17 through 19.
I do not have my Bible.
I didn't bring mine either, so this is the house Bible.
This is the NLT version right here. Ephesians 3, 17 through 19. May
Where's the
your
back?
roots go down deep into the soil of God's marvelous love,
Come on.
and may you have the power to understand how wide, how long, how high, and how deep is His love really is. May you experience the love of Christ though it is so great you will never fully understand it.
Dun, dun,
Then you
dun.
will be filled with the fullness of life and the power that comes from God.
I could cry right now.
That's it.
It's just
Right.
gorgeous.
So Ephesians 3, what, 17?
17 through 19.
What version is this? New NIV version. So that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, and I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power together with all the saints to grasp how wide and how long and how high and deep is the love of Christ,
Yes.
and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. Man, it's so crazy. I would say that pretty much sums it up.
Sums it up?
Cheese and rice.
Doesn't he always sum it up? It
We've been
just
doing it,
works
Kim.
out
We've been
so
doing this
great.
for 2 years, and Jeff, smartest man in the world, can attest. Every time, does it not?
It's always.
Always sums it up.
Spot on.
The living word.
So and that's why whenever you ask, like, what are we talking about? We don't go there. We let him run the show. You know what I mean? And,
Amen.
And so that's when, like, that's why this stuff is relevant, because it's not us. It's we just want to bring the word, man. That's all we want to do.
That's it.
You know, and
That's it.
I think he does an awesome job of working through us, and I thank him for allowing us to be here to do that.
Absolutely.
I thank him for allowing us to have an awesome guest on to share experiences and to just be a part of God's goodness in this world and bringing unity to the community.
Love wins.
Love wins.
That's all I know. If I
Every
forget everything else, love wins. Yeah, and I was honored to be here. Thanks for.
17 through 19. That's
That's,
that's so awesome. That's
It is
so
beautiful. It is beautiful.
Jeez, nice. Well, again, thank you to Kim Dotson, Outreach Director
thank you
at
guys.
the Bridge Church. Hit that. Give me that website one more time.
TheBridgeNKY.com.
.com. Check them out. Don't forget New Hope Christian Center tonight. Bible study 7 p.m. 941 Central Avenue. New Reality has services Sunday morning 10:30. Friday night starting at 6 o'clock. 7137 Mandalay Drive out in Florence, Kentucky. Shout out to everybody. My dude Al Watts, owner of Victory Janitorial Services. Don't let floors be your chore. Call your pal Al. That's 859-802-0473. Again, that's 859-802-0473. Man, we want to thank you guys. We want to urge you to seek God first. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and everything else will be added unto you.
That's right.
Do not live out of fear. Fear is a liar for sure. Remember that. Tune in next week. I think we're going to have an awesome guest on next week as well. He's going to talk about his ministries and the things that he's doing in the community and what God's doing through him. Tune in next week to 1320 AM WCBG The Voice. This has been another episode of OKaye. Let's be friends.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
Jeff's like,
Yeah. Okay,
Hey, no, that was right at 1, and we came on late, so I'm going for that. Jeez, right?
1320 AM WCBG.
Anybody who's watching on Facebook, if you want to help partner with us and help us out, we would definitely appreciate it. This Kay and I would definitely appreciate it.
Hi.
Thank you guys so much for your love and support.
Absolutely.
Please tune in next week and see what God has to say.
Appreciate you.
My name is